Hey everyone. Now I'm sure you've all heard about this by now. I'm sure it's been talked about in some of the Sonic forums like Sega.com Sonic forums, in the cartoons comic section there, at Sonic Stadium and what have you, as well as Saturday Morning Sonic and Sonic Saturday AM. And I'm sure you've heard Matt from Tails channel talk about it as well. And that is the fact that just when you think this Worlds Unite crossover, the sequel to Worlds Collide, couldn't get any bigger, couldn't get any bigger, couldn't get it any more unpredictable or surprising. Now all of a sudden you add in the fact that you are not only going to have, the main comic of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Universe, crossing over with the MegaMan comics, or the MegaMan comic, and its storylines and stuff. But now, you have the news that Ian Flynn is going to incorporate the Mega Man X continuity and the all new Sonic Boom continuity. That's right, the all new Sonic Boom continuity in franchise, or portion of the Sonic franchise, along with the Mega Man X portion of the Mega Man franchise, is all going to be incorporated into World Unite. Now, I know some people hearing about that, depending on how you hear it, are kind of excited about it. They look at it as though, they look at the sequel as if it couldn't get any better, it just did. And I know some people like the idea of, let's say, Boom crossing over into this, because the reaction of how because basically they want to see how the Boom characters, or not just the Boom characters, but how the Prime characters, the Prime Universe characters, interact with the Boom counterparts. Like, what happens if, let's say, what was he in My Fair Stixie's episode? Comedy Monkey, or whatever he is? What happens if he shows up in a panel? Let's say they end up on the Boom world, because that's probably what's going to happen. If they end up in a Boom portion of this united world, if you will. What happens, let's say, Amy Rose Prime, when she encounters her Boom counterpart, all of a sudden out of nowhere, here's this comedic monkey just comes out of nowhere, right? Imagine what the Prime Amy Rose's reaction would be. Like, where did he come from? What's the point with him? Who's he? And you could probably hear, let's say, Boom Amy's response of, oh, he's just our comedic monkey. He's there to help us with comedic timing on jokes and all that. So that itself could be interesting. That itself could be intriguing, just to see the interaction. And I think that's why Ian's incorporating these characters, for the interaction they're going to have between each other. Like I said, what's going to happen when you have the Boom characters interacting with the Prime counterparts and vice versa? I mean, what's going to happen when you have Mega Man X encountering Mega Man, maybe for the second time or for the first time, depending on how you look at it? I mean, the possibilities are endless. The comedic possibilities, courtesy of, let's say, Boom being part of this, is, it's endless. But here's the question. But here's a question a lot of people have: is it too much for Ian Flynn to handle? I know some people will be like, "Oh, yeah, it is going to be too much, and he's going to fail. And he's going to fail. He's going to bomb." And maybe that might happen, maybe not. You see, the thing is with Ian Flynn is, despite anybody's differences with him, despite how you feel about him, and as I've mentioned on many of occasions, I've had my problems with him myself. But despite how you feel about the guy, he is ambitious. When he sets a goal to do something, he's going to get it done. And if he wants to, if his goal is to incorporate everything Sonic and everything Mega Man at this point into this new sequel, into this new crossover that he feels could work, then so be it. Let it happen. Let it be, if you will. But the question is, will it work? You see, that's the number one question. Will it work in the long run, or will it be too much for him? Now, another thing I'm sure a lot of people have always wondered, as far as this Worlds Collide thing goes, as long as we're talking about it, is exactly how does this not Worlds Collide, but this Worlds Unite, is how exactly does this Worlds Unite thing happen? Well, I've said it before in one of my monthly opinion videos, I think it was back in November or so. I said basically we now kind of have an idea of exactly how we're going to get there from the main Sonic comic and Sonic Universe perspective. We're going to get there courtesy of this whole Dark Gaia deal, thanks to Eggman. Yeah, Eggman's going to play a part, but not as strong as a part as what the Dark Gaia will. And then maybe how Boom becomes a part of this is through what Lyric does. Something's going to involve Lyric or their Eggman. Something's going to happen. And then when you take a look at the Mega Man side of things, of course you might have Wily involved somehow in making this event occur, but you also got to have something more darker, more menacing in the Mega Man world, along with coinciding almost at the same time in the Mega Man X universe to make this all happen. So, even though I don't read the Mega Man comics, I will say that they've got to have something equivalent and equal to, in storyline, to what possibly Dark Gaia, Lyric, and whatever else will be involved in making this happen. Now, we do pretty much have an idea of how the release dates are going to go. I mean, I think they talked about this at the New York Comic Con, that the release dates are going to be kind of a every other issue deal. Like, let's say with the main Sonic comic, you're going to have part 1, but the main Sonic comic may not get another part until maybe 2 months later, or something like that. The same thing with Mega Man. If you're a Mega Man fan and you read the Mega Man comics, it'll be the same thing. Mega Man may get part 2, but won't get another part until about 2 months later. If this is going to be a year-long event, that'd be a surprise. But hopefully it won't be. I think it's just going to be a spring-summer event. That's all we're going to get here. And it is surprising, and it shouldn't be too much of a surprise as it's starting in the spring. Mainly, I would assume either mid-March, early April, maybe May. But if what Matt at Tails Channel is saying is true, then we're looking at maybe around late March, early April to when this whole crossover begins, because then you could use all of the spring and all of the summer to get it out there and make it bigger than before. I mean, as a matter of fact, they even said that this was going to be bigger than what Worlds Collide was. Now, the question I know a lot of people will have, though, is what happens when Worlds Unite is done? What effects will it have? Well, one, pretty much, I think from a Sonic standpoint, it's going to reunite Sonic's world as being whole again. It's going to go in that direction there. It's too obvious. But it's also got to have an effect on another world, though. And I think this time around it's going to have an effect on Mega Man's world. I mean, you have Sonic's world basically falling apart, at the seams. So and having to be pieced back together. So what better way to kind of, make it even, kind of break even, if you will, than to have MegaMan's world, have a similar consequence or after effect because of Worlds Unite. I'm just saying. But again, to me, being a subscriber of the Sonic comic for as long as I have and reading the stories, I am assuming that it's all going to lead basically to Sonic's world being pieced back together once again. So that's what I believe from the Sonic standpoint we're looking at. We're looking at that from a Sonic standpoint. Like I said, we're looking at that from a Sonic standpoint. Boom-wise, I would assume that world's going to be safe because it's a new portion of the franchise, and I don't think, Sega wants anything, bad to happen to that. I don't think Sega wants anything bad to happen to that. So, I would assume, Boom's going to be left alright. I would assume the Mega Man X world will be okay. So, I think it's all pinpointing to something happening with Mega Man's world in, at the end of all of it. But yeah, that's what I see. I mean, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's what I feel is a possibility. So yeah, that's really all I have to say on it. But again, like a lot of fans, I am intrigued of exactly where they go with the addition of Boom in the Mega Man X universes, and how they will connect and interact with each other. That's what I look at. Will we see? I know one question people have is, will we see the roboticized masters again? Probably not. Probably not. I don't think we'll see those guys again. I mean, if we do, be surprised, but I don't really think so. I think, Sonic obviously having memories of before, and kind of cluing his friends in on what's going on, may be prepared for that kind of an outcome. Or that maybe, storyline-wise, may be prepared for that kind of a possibility. Another question I know some fans would have is, are we going to see everybody? Is it going to be game-only characters again, or are we going to get the whole shebang? Are we going to get the SATM characters? Are we going to get, the, comic exclusive Mega Man characters? Are we going to get everybody, or those that are going to be main players? And I would assume we would. I mean, if Paul Kaminsky's saying, hey, this is going to be bigger than the last one, not just from an expansion of adding in Boom and Mega Man X, but also character-wise, I would assume he has to go in that direction. I would assume it. So, but yeah, that's really all I have to say on it. And again, I'm looking forward to it. I may end up subscribing, like I'm gonna do probably this week, for Universe because of the Spark of Life arc. I may end up subscribing to Sonic Boom and maybe even Mega Man. And if they have it, Mega Man X, if you will, just to see what's going on with this new sequel. So I may end up doing that. We'll see what happens. But all I can say is it's an intriguing concept to add Boom in the Mega Man X universes. And we'll just see where they go with it. And that's all I'm going to say. You guys let me know what you think down below. I'll talk to y'all later.